Good morning everyone, I'm Harry Fordham, New Farming Technologies Lead for Syngenta in Northwest Europe, so that's UK, Benelux and the Nordic regions, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit around Syngenta's application work, what we do, why we do it, and why we see it as so important. So the three factors that we like to think about when it comes to application, or the three most important factors are boom height, forward speed, and of course nozzle selection. So we'll start off with boom height. When we're talking about boom height, we aim to be 50 centimetres above the target. So the nozzle's at 50 centimetres above the target. And the reason because of that is boom height is the single biggest controllable factor when it comes to reducing drift. So if we double the boom height, we can get 10 times more drift. And also, not only that, but the more stable the boom is, the more likely the product is to hit the target. And we talk about drift in several different ways, and often we think about drift from an environmental perspective, but from a grower's perspective or a farmer's perspective, the best thing to think about with drift is that is products that you guys have bought that isn't hitting the target and it's not doing the job you want it to do. If I just show you here on our small trial sprayer, one of the ways you can help to ensure you get your boom at 50 centimetres above the target is just, something simple like a small cable tie, and you can see we've measured it at 50 centimetres, and when we're spraying the field, we'll have that just above the target that we want to hit to ensure that the sprayer is the correct height, we get the correct double overlap from each nozzle, and we ensure we reduce drift as much as possible, and most importantly, hit the target that we want to hit. Now Tim's going to drive past with a boom and a meter, and remember, a meter of boom height, 10 times more drift. And look here, you can see the drift from the flat fans. Even though the 3D90s are looking very good, there is still an element of drift. But from the flat fans, you can see a dreadful amount of drift. And this is why boom height is so important to maximise product deposition. You can see here Tim has got the boom at 50 centimetres, and he is spraying at about 8 kilometres an hour. Very little drift, sensible forward speed, and on the 3D90s a lovely pattern with very little drift. So why does Syngenta look into this technology? Why do we have such a vested interest in application technology? The reason being is because we believe that actually only 50% of the job is done by the product. The other 50% is done by you, the operator or farm manager, and that is because the other 50% could be due to timing, mechanical issues, and setting up the sprayer correctly. And if you guys ensure you do the best possible job with application, you'll get the most out of the product and maximise the value for money from our products. So now one of those fine-tuning aspects I'm talking about is forward speed. Now if we go too fast, there's two things that happen. Firstly, it's difficult to keep the boom stable because the boom can wobble both forward, backwards and up and down. And secondly, you get more turbulence behind the sprayer. So what we tend to see is if you go, for example, at 16 kilometers an hour, we've seen up to 40% drop in efficacy from going 8 kilometers an hour. And that's why we recommend in Syngenta is to go at least 10 kilometers an hour or slower. So here we're doing an example of what happens when you go too fast. Tim has started off at 16 kilometers an hour. On the left you can see the flat fan is very drifty. On the right, the 3D90, he's now slowed down to 6 kilometers an hour, and you can see vastly how much the drift has reduced. And this is why we encourage growers to go at that slower forward speed. So far we've talked about boom height and forward speed, and then lastly, from the trifecta of spraying that I was talking about, is nozzle selection. Now there are tons of different nozzles on the market, and we appreciate that it can be a complicated market to look into. So what you need to know is A, what your target is, and B, what you're trying to achieve by hitting that target. So for example, for pre-emergence herbicide sprays, we're aiming at the soil. And when we're aiming at the soil, we've got several things we want to take into account. So there's things like clods or other bits and bobs that get in the way of our product. And we're trying to create a sheath of pre-em herbicide across the soil. So Syngenta have looked into this, and we've historically produced nozzles in the UK, and we've got a wide range selection of nozzles. But one of the challenges we have with those is traditionally they've all been quite quite drifty. So what we've tried to do now is take that on to the next step, and as a result we've invented this, which is the Syngenta 3D90. And what's key about the 3D90 is several things. A, it's got a 55-degree angle, so that mitigates the clods and shadowing we see. B, it is a pre-orifice nozzle, so it gets its drift reduction capability and is pulse width modulation compatible. And C, which is the most important, is its 90% drift reduction. And that is really important because we can get good deposition of product without compromising efficacy. However, we still get an element of drift reduction, or good drift reduction, which gives you, the grower, more flexibility, more time, and potential to spray at more appropriate times than it can be with more drifty nozzles. This one itself is a prototype nozzle because we are just going through the process now of its approval. But Syngenta have been trialling this for nearly 4 years. We realised that it doesn't compromise efficacy and maximises drift reduction. And here you can see the fantastic pattern of the 3D90 across the boom in comparison to the flat fan nozzle. And on the far side, flat fan, near side, 55-degree 3D90, minimal drift, maximum deposition, and a lovely example of not compromising too much on drift whilst maximising efficacy. Hi everyone, I'm Harry Fordham, New Farming Technologies Lead for Syngenta in the UK, Benelux and Nordic regions. And we're here today at our trial site in Barton in Cambridgeshire to look at pre-emergence application technology. And here we trial nozzles, water volumes and different products and how they all interact. We have several sites across Northern Europe, but this one in particular has 120 different trial plots, so we can compare and also do replicated comparisons throughout the site. This site in particular was drilled on the 9th of November. The variety is Gleam. We then sprayed it on the 11th of November, so within 48 hours within that recommended crucial timescale. It's under a very high blackgrass burden, as we'll go and have a look later on, and hopefully it'll really allow us to pull out some really good differences. Hi everyone, so we're here in one of our untreated plots to give everyone a gauge as to where we're at. We've got probably 10 of these plots across the whole site, so we get a good effect of blackgrass across the site, so we know what the weed burden's doing. If we just look into the middle of the plot, you can see there is a high blackgrass burden, so we're really putting these treatments under pressure, and it's a really nice way to pull out treatment differences. And if we just look over the far side of the plots, you can see even in the plot next door we're getting treatment effects, and the herbicides and application methods are doing something. Now, over the last few years, as part of our pre-emergence herbicide campaign and low slow covered, which you may have heard of, we've been talking a lot about getting the right water volume for your situation. And what we're going to look at today is, or in these plots, sorry, is the difference between 200 litres a hectare and 100 litres a hectare. To give you context, in these plots, I'm stood next to an untreated plot at the moment, and you can see heavy blackgrass and broadleaf weed burden with some poppies and cleavers and thistles, as well as blackgrass, obviously. But if I move forward a little bit, you can see we have two treated plots on my left and right hand side. These plots have both been treated with the same chemistry, 4 litres a hectare of Defy plus 0.6 litres a hectare of Liberator, so the active ingredients are sulfur-carb and flufenicet. Both of these plots have been done with the Syngenta 3D90 nozzle. The key differences are, this one on my left hand side has been done at 200 litres a hectare and has actually done a remarkably good job under high pressure. And on my right hand side here, yes, there's some wild oats and some blackgrass, but this is at 100 litres a hectare. And you can see that the burden in the 100 litre hectare plot is much higher than the burden in the 200 litre hectare plot. And again, it just reiterates our messaging around that 200 litres a hectare under high pressure situations, giving some real benefit. And also, one thing that we have noticed in the 100 litres a hectare plots is more broadleaf weeds. So in here you can see more thistles, more cleavers, and of course as well the odd poppy as well. So we're getting not just grassweed benefits, but benefits on broadleaf weeds as well. So we're still confident in our 200 litre a hectare messaging. Now this is a plot that was applied with our brand new 3D90 nozzle. So the 3D90 is an angled nozzle that has 90% drift reduction. This was at 200 litres a hectare, and you can see that we've got a really good level of control. Very clean plot, especially if we look in comparison to a plot here, for example, which is untreated. Now this plot here is sprayed with our old 3D nozzle, so that is the 38-degree nozzle, an angled sort of flat fan style nozzle. It's 200 litres a hectare again, and you can see actually in comparison to the previous plot we just looked at, 3D90, there's very little to pick between them, and actually I think in the burden that we've got, generally pretty good control. Now this plot here on my right hand side, this is the TJet TTI nozzle, which is also a 90% drift reduction nozzle, and this has been our recommendation for the last couple of years, and actually in comparison to the 3D and 3D90, not awful control, probably not quite as good, but still something that I think most growers under the pressure we're under, and you can see here the untreated plot with the black grass in there, we've still got a decent level of control. It's just worth remembering all three of these plots I've just shown you have all been applied with the same chemistry, and that is 4 litres of Defy and 0.6 of Liberator. So all we've changed in these plots is literally just the nozzle and how we've applied the product. Another thing about nozzle selection is if you're confused by it, or you feel like there's a lot of information out there, Syngenta have got an app called Spray Assist, which you're able to download for free from the App Store or the Google Play Store, and that will give you the best possible advice for nozzle selection in your situation. So I'm going to demonstrate the new look Spray Assist and what additional features we've added with the new branding, and you'll see it's now under the Syngenta digital branding in the top left corner of my phone. So I'll just select that here, and this is the familiar looking screen with the saved location on, and this is a field just outside Cambridge. If I want to select the location I'm currently in, I press the grey dot to the right hand side there, but we'll stick with this one in Cambridge. You'll see the familiar midnight to 11 o'clock at night 24-hour clock, and I'm filming this at 11 o'clock in the morning, hence why it's greyed out from midnight till 11. If I change the date at the top here, for example, to tomorrow on Wednesday, you'll see that all the colours are there and all the hours are there. But we'll leave it on today for now. And for example, what we've added in is you can see on the wind speed, that's saying it's 3.8 meters a second at the moment. And you can see we've also added in direction of the wind with an arrow. So northeast coming from obviously a northeasterly direction. We have the temperature and the rainfall risk. As we go through the day, we can see that the weather forecast is predicting the wind will rise, and is advising probably not best conditions to spray. We've also added in, if I want to, for example, plan a spray application for tomorrow at, say, midday, I can say that's going to take 4 hours, and I can then go and select my nozzle recommendation. So let's suggest that we're going to be spraying cereals and Pre-em, and you can see it auto-populates from 200 litres a hectare and 10 kilometres an hour forward speed. I'll select my sprayer, I'll select test one, and then what it will give you is a recommendation of a range of nozzles for the weather conditions we are expecting. So we'll look at, say, for example, this X-Ray 05, and one thing that is new is we can add this equipment to our sprayer. You can see that because of the weather conditions, it's requiring a 90% drift reduction nozzle. And I can also see if I want to adjust my forward speed, for example, by increasing the pressure, I can do that. And then it'll tell me what the drift reduction legislation is giving. So still at 12K at 3 bar, I'm still getting 90% drift reduction. But if I go up higher to say 4 bar, you can see that the drift reduction drops dramatically. So we'll stick with the Spray Assist recommendation of 2.1 bar. And I can go through, save that to my sprayer, and you can see the plan is then added. And it is in my plans as here. So that's a quick overview of what's the new parts of Spray Assist. Hopefully you can download. It's free to download on the iOS and App Store and Google Play Store if you've got an Android. Any questions, please fire them in, and we'll be more than happy to help. Cheers. So something else that we've been working on at Syngenta as a cross-industry partnership, along with Adama, BASF, Belgium, Certis, Corteva,
FMC, New Farm, Ravenza, is a closed transfer system, which I hope you've heard about, but we're going to hear a little bit more about. This is the Easy Connect system where the industry colleagues in all those different manufacturers will have the same cap type on their cans, which means that they are all compatible with an Easy Connect coupler. The reason we're doing this is it is safer for operators, potentially reduces operator exposure, potentially reduces our impact on the environment, makes the whole filling sprayer system quicker, easier, and safer, and also means that we can work together and make it as straightforward as possible for operators and growers alike when using our chemistry to make sure that one system is compatible with lots of different manufacturers' chemical cans. So we're just going to watch a few videos, one with a bit of information about the system, about the coupler, about the cap, and then a couple of insights from users of the coupler and the caps over the last few years that have been based in the UK. So here we go. Take it away with Easy Connect.
My name's Andrew Myatt. I'm sprayer operator and farm foreman at Stoll Park Estate in Gloucestershire. We're farming 1,600 hectares of arable crops. We're covering the ground with an abatement RB35, 32 metre boom, 4,000 litre tank. Key challenges spraying in the Cotswolds. The weather is the main part. We're a little bit higher above sea level than others, so we have a few more winds. The winters are longer, summers are shorter, so reliability, efficient use of the machine are very, very crucial to us. The Easy Connect was by far the most efficient and quickest to use. To be able to possibly maintain a few more of the active ingredients by reducing the operator exposure, and for my own health and safety, was a plus plus. The system has been very successful because it just saves time. I've done some timings and I can't beat the way that the Easy Connect can extract the chemical from the can. Washing is continued all in a closed system, and once the can is empty and rinsed, it's straight off the Easy Connect and onto the drainage tub ready for recycling. As quick as you can attach and drain a can, you're moving on to the next one. Our system is mounted inside our sprayer store, tied in with my other drainage cans and everything else. Works best for us in our situation. The future for the system on the farm is very positive, and I will continue to use it.
I'm John Martin. We're farming down in Dorset and we're farming 300 hectares of combinable crops. We're growing winter wheat, spring barley, peas and winter oats. We're currently using a horse leaf sprayer, a 5,000 litre with 36 metre booms. Our problem is always going to be get in the right weather window at the right time, so we have to make the most of all the chances we get. We started using the closed transfer system about 3 years ago. We've now got to something that is faster than using an induction hopper. Normally, using an induction hopper, you'd be pouring in, then rinsing it, hanging it up, then go and get another one. It's time consuming. With using this system, the machine can be emptying or washing out while I'm getting a can ready or hanging one up on the drainer. All the time you can keep a system going, and if you can keep a system going when you have multiple containers to get in on some of the high literage products, you can actually save considerable time and at the same time having no operator exposure. This system is better than doing it through the induction hopper. It's quicker, it's safer, and there's less point source contamination. What is there not to like?
Hi, my name's Ian Robertson. I work for David Foot Limited based in Dorset on a mixed arable and dairy farm. So we're cropping winter wheat, winter barley, spring barley, winter beans and grass and maize. Most of them are receiving at some point during the year a fungicide and a herbicide programme. We're operating a Bateman RB35 with 4,000 litre tank and 30 metre booms. Probably the three biggest challenges that I face as a sprayer operator is the wind, the weather, applying the product safely and accurately, and just trying to cover the ground in a timely fashion. I've been using two different systems over the last 2 years, and they've developed so much in that time. The three advantages that I see the closed transfer system bringing to me are it's quicker, it's easier and it's safer. I can't find anything not to like about it. You've completely and utterly eliminated any possibility of point source contamination because it's sealed units all the time. It's so quick and easy. While the can is either inducting or rinsing, you could be opening cans, draining other cans, recycling cans and getting them ready to go in the system. You can be doing three things at once in essence, which speeds the time up. We're looking at about a 30% saving in time over a traditional fill method. We'll definitely be using the CTS for the foreseeable future.